Hey.
Hey, hey, everybody. I like doing Zoom calls. I like them better
You like better than Facebook Live?
than Facebook Live, only because I can manage it
Mm-hmm.
better. Happy Friday on this weird 4th of July week.
I know Jenny was just telling me, is this Friday?
I know. I totally missed the dinner last night. Yeah, tri-tip too.
Uh-oh, Steve, the World Cup is on. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Whoops.
That's why this is being recorded, so you can get off.
Or record the World Cup.
That's right. Hey, Terry, welcome. Or record the, that's true.
Smoky Reno. Ooh.
Belgium's up 2-0 up against Brazil. All right, go Belgium.
World
Rob,
Cup.
are you a soccer fan?
Not really.
Yeah, me either.
I don't like it. I just haven't gotten into it. You know?
Right, yeah. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
It's super big here because we don't have a football team.
Oh, really? You don't have...
But that's a weird one for me.
What do you mean? You don't have like a high school, like Beaverton High School or something?
No, there's no professional.
No professional. Well, I bet they all like the Seahawks, don't they?
Yes. Everyone here likes the Seahawks, and then it's college. It's the Beavers and the Ducks.
Yeah.
But, I grew up in San Francisco. Everybody was 49er.
Right.
But that was back when Joe Montana was a long time ago.
Right.
But, yeah, no. So up here, it's the Timbers, and basketball's really big, the Blazers.
Yep.
No football.
Yeah.
It's close by.
Yeah. Cool. I think it'd probably be fun to be at the World Cup. It's in Russia. That'd be a blast probably, but for us, like watching it on TV, I just have never really done that.
Just record it. We won't tell you. We won't give you any spoilers.
Right.
Cool. Let's jump into this, guys. We appreciate you being on a Friday. This is being recorded for people who aren't able to watch it live. I know we're in the middle of a work day, but we wanted to knock this out because we know a lot of people are getting in a private label in the box and have questions, and we just want to make sure we get those questions answered. So feel free to post questions that you have about it. We're going to just jump right in, but
can you post your questions in the Q&A just in case? I know we don't have a whole lot of people on, but it's a little bit easier for us to track them. And Ryan, you want to introduce Rob?
Yes, that's a great idea. So guys, Rob is the smart one of the group.
I don't know about that.
So guys, this is Rob Crin, a good friend of ours. You were Abe's coaching student, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And so Abe just recommended him. Rob is just brilliant with software and data. And so Abe had an idea and brought it to us. And basically, guys, it's being able to take the 5-step test and make it a 15-step test. And Rob has ways of making that happen to spit out this data for you guys. And so, Rob, feel free to tell them a little bit about yourself other than just that. I know it's more important things besides your data, but
yeah. Well, thanks for that. I think you've oversold me there, but I appreciate that. I've been selling on Amazon about 4 years, doing a variety of different things, starting out with RA and stuff and moving down the path. And like you said, Abe was my coach, and he's a data guy. I'm a data guy, and we kind of were able to speak data. And I was in my previous careers, a lot of them had me working with data, essentially processing data, downloading data into Excel and doing a bunch of analysis and filtering and sorting. And my last job was I was a software tester. I had a lot of tests, and I had to be able to organize and process that. And as I was going through the journey of private label, process of finding keywords and analysis, they seemed to relate pretty good of how the processes worked. And I was able to show Abe those type of things, and that's where, like you were saying, he recommended me to you guys as saying I might be able to help you guys out, do a lot of the things that you're doing, and add not only provide leads but add additional layers of validation.
Absolutely, yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for joining our team too, guys. And Rob's a part of our team on this. And so, guys, that's the biggest thing. If you don't take away anything else other than this, is that the products in private label in a box used to pass just the 5-step test, which is great because we have a lot of people in our group that do the 5-step test, find products, find suppliers, and are successful. Then we have a lot of folks that are more like Abe and Rob who want to go a little bit further. They'd rather validate more on the front end and not do as much testing on the back end. And so that's why we've added 10 more steps to this thing. So you guys in private label in the box, now these products all pass the 15-step test, and we'll go over what that is. And so it's just a huge extra value that you get. And it's the same price as what it's been. So we're just excited about this because it just makes it so much more valuable. Each product, each lead is so much more valuable than before. And so we're just really, really excited about that. And we're going to share it with you. So let's go into a couple things first. We know, guys, a lot of you might be new to private label in the box, not really understand exactly what it is, but you thought it sounds cool, so let's jump into it. But it's not training. There's no training in here whatsoever. All of that is in the private label mentoring program Facebook group. That's where all the training is. So we're not going to provide training in private label in the box. So for that reason, it's helpful that you at least know what all this is. It's basically just shortcuts your research piece. So we talk about the RAD model inside our private label group, the research, acquire, and dispatch. The research piece is where you're looking for products. So basically you can skip over that whole step if you're in private label in the box, find a product, then find a supplier if it's a product without a supplier. Some of them even have suppliers attached to them. So you could just go straight to those, buy it from those suppliers, and go right to the dispatch part, because we find that people get stuck at certain spots. They usually get stuck at if they're new to private label, get stuck at finding a product. Okay. And then after that, they're like, well, now I got a product. Where am I going to find a supplier? People get stuck at that step. So private label in the box can help you with both of those too. Now, in fact, we even have a listing template in here that will help you with creating a listing too. So helps you out with the D part as well. So it's extra, it just shortcuts the process for you. So we're excited about that piece, but we want you to know that these aren't promised winners. Like these aren't we can't guarantee that these are going to make you $1 million. We don't know that. This is
not proven
data on this side of Amazon. We use tools that help us find these products. But these all, it's just tools, and these are just leads. Okay. So don't think of them or get mad at us if you launch a product from this and it doesn't sell 100 a day. Got anything you guys want to add to that? I'm sorry, I don't want to monopolize this.
No, I was looking for that graphic. I wonder if it would be helpful.
Which one?
The one with the validation and the slider kind of going through, but that's all right. I think you hit it. I just, these are not proven yet. So proven to us, we validate on the front end, then we send them in, and all of that validation that's done on the front end, no matter how many layers you do, you are collecting data from other people's listings, not from your own listing. And so that data, it's not a proven product yet until you can look at the actual data for your listing. There's so many factors that go into the success of a product, right? So we're gathering as many of those as we can on the front end, but it is not we don't call it a proven product until you have had success on the back end and you have looked at the data on the back end and optimized and all of that. So this gets you through the whole beginning up until that point. You still have to prove the product. This gives you a jump start, and it's just a way, like Ryan said, we found people were getting stuck. And it's another way that we can help people get over that, or they don't want to spend the time on it. Instead of getting a VA, they're going to come here. They can just get product after product, suppliers, whatever you need. And they've already been vetted, and there's already lots of validation done. We're super excited about what Rob's brought in and having this extra 15 layers of validation. Again, that just means that that's less work on the front end that you have to do, or on the back end that you have to do.
Right.
Because you've done even more detailed validation on the front end. And by front end, back end, we're talking about the front end is before you send something in, the back end is after you've sent in your product and you're collecting data. So I think you nailed it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So guys, again, these aren't promised winners. And what a winner, again, and what that we say term winner, like Jenny may be happy if she sells 10 a day of something. I may be happy if I sell 2 a day. So both of those could be winners. depending on you. Each person's business is different. So, but these aren't guaranteed to sell even one a day necessarily. But we know that we have passed lots of validation steps way beyond the 5-step test. So we're excited about that because we just know there's some really good products in here. It shortcuts the research phase. And Jenny, a question we get a lot, and Mark asked it too, is how many people are part of the group looking at the same list of products? Right now, I think we have 200 to 250 people in the group. And we have, gosh, I don't even know how many, like there's a lot of people, Mark, that have been in this group for a long time and have access to that whole archive. So there's way more products than what's currently in this site here. The one that's being dripped out, we can explain what we mean by that. But honestly, we're not concerned about saturation because this isn't retail arbitrage. A couple of different reasons why is we've learned, Jenny and I have learned, sadly, that very few people even take action. So of the 200, 250 people that are in private label in the box, how many are actually launching products out of this?
And there's 29 people right now on this call. So,
and if several people pick the same product, you'd still be on a separate listing. So it's to us, that's not a concern. People are concerned about it. Let us know. We'll figure out ways to help you understand it or address it or do something different. But it's just not a concern with private label because it's a whole different product, be a different listing. You can so many different ways to make it different, and you're not competing on the same listing. So.
Right. Plus, there's all of the suppliers and all of their catalogs that you have access to. There are literally, and the keywords, directions you can go with that. There are thousands of directions to go. Right. So that's why we're not concerned about it. It's a hard question to answer because it's a hard question for people to understand that with private label, it's just a different ballgame. It's not the same as RA and even wholesale. It's not the same as that because you have so much more control over your listing. So it's not something that we've been concerned about at all.
Right. Yeah, and like Jenny said, use these as launch pads. So like we have these vetted suppliers in here. They have thousands of products. One of them in particular I know has thousands of products. I hadn't even told you guys about the site that as a promo company we're about to share with you all that has 577,000 products in it. Yeah. And so it's just not a concern at all for us. But guys, we want to help you understand. So feel free to ask us questions
back on it. Yep.
So those are the main things we wanted to start at the beginning. So let's jump into the site. So this is the homepage that you see when you log in. If you go to your avatar at the top, you'll see all the announcements. So far, there's only one announcement, which is about this webinar. I will post the replay on this page here. Okay. And I will also post it on the Start Here section because this is the Start Here, how to use private label in the box. So we, just have basically it's telling you what to do with it. You can go to the product page or the keyword page, choose a product, and get it launched. I mean, that's as simple as to say it is just that, we talk about the RAD model in private label, the mentoring program. We talk about how you got to find a product, find a supplier, list, launch, and test it. So we've taken out the whole research piece completely. So pick a product, find a supplier for it, or it may be a product with a supplier. Maybe you can order from that same supplier that we've mentioned. Now, also another thing to say is that just because we've mentioned a certain supplier does not mean that's the absolute best supplier to get that product from. That's just an option. Okay, so
and it's a vetted option, so it's still a shortcut.
It's a vetted option. We've asked them the magic question. But you could pick that product from that supplier, and you're already 2/3 of the way done with the process. So basically, guys, it's just how to use it is find a product, find the supplier if it's not in there, and get it launched. I will post the webinar recording here as well. Okay. And then, of course, if you don't know what private label the easy way is, there's a link to my book, and there's also a link to Jenny's book, The Hunt Method of Bundling. All right, so go into the product section. This is probably where you're going to spend most of your time, I would imagine. So this is validated products without suppliers. So we have gone through, we used to have the 5-step test, which is generic, non-brand driven, small, simple, and then we passed a demand test and a competition test. We have 10 extra layers of validation on these products, and they don't have suppliers attached to them. And these are just this is what we call the super validation. So we'll have Rob go through. You can start with number 6, Rob, because everybody knows the 5-step test. So
right. Yeah. So thanks for.
Can you zoom in at all?
Sure.
There we go.
Okay. So some of these validations come about to add an extra layer to the 5-step program process. And some are additional tests that we haven't looked at before and or looking more at the market. Because one of the things, before I get into the details here, is like when you do a 5-step test and you go and put a keyword in and do a search, that's a snapshot, just what it is right there at that moment. And some of that's going to change depending on how competitive the market is. People change their prices, reviews come in and out, sales change. So by adding also some additional layers, looking more at the market as a whole over time, then we can get a better sense of stability of the market and that it has been not proven, but has shown that it has met the criteria moving forward. So let me just make note. So top 10 sales. So the first one, number 6, top 10 average minimum sales per month greater than 75. That's in the step 4. We're doing total for 750. We just wanted to add in, okay, what is the average for these for these products? So instead of total, we're adding average. We're trying to, in some regard, look to see if there's a way to eliminate at some points the outliers. So for example, you could have a listing of the first result has 1,000 sales and everybody else has 0, but it would pass the 5-step test. Now the average necessarily wouldn't solve that in that particular case, but we're trying to add additional things of looking at statistics to try to minimize these ups and downs of data points that may be not very good data, and trying to be able to find something that's more reasonable of not being an extreme value. Number 7 is kind of related to the same thing. We're looking at max reviews less than 200 on average. And this is also in conjunction with the 5-step test. So you're still going to find 3 results that have less than 50 reviews, and the average is less than 200. So we're going away from a potential listing where you got all these listings have lots of reviews and a few that have the less than 50. So it's just a way to try to, again, get rid of outliers so that you don't have to test things that may be blatantly not really good results. The next one is something that hasn't been discussed, I don't believe, in the group, as the sales to reviews ratio. And the whole idea here is you want to pick something that has good sales, but it doesn't have the competition, and it's a way to reference that as kind of like steps 4 and 5 of the 5-step test. So if you do just an example here, if you found a keyword that you can do a search for, and you got 300 sales, and it also had 300 reviews on average for the top 10, that's a ratio of 1, 300 divided by 300. If you had another keyword also having 10 for the top 10, 300 sales, but it had, say, 30 reviews on average, that's going to give you a ratio of 10, 300 divided by 10. So if you had an opportunity to look at these two, you're saying, well, I can get the same amount of sales, but a lot less reviews. So it's an indicator of competition, and we like to see something that is at least 3 as a good rule of thumb, and a lot of the ones that are in the private label box are significantly higher than that. The next couple are more of a market-based. So the minimum average price is the change over 90 days. We want to see how the price is during that time. We have a negative result. We want to be greater than negative 10%. Ideally, you want to have stable prices and or increasing possibly. But because of the way things work, going slightly negative may be okay for variations of how prices change over time. So we just want to make sure that we didn't want to exclude something that's slightly negative, and we felt 10% is within range of a variation. And the same for the sales trend. year over year, what's happening 1 year over the next year. Is it increasing? Is it staying the same? And we don't want anything less than 10% change from year to year. We also want to look at the total brands that is greater than 3. So for example, if you had a listing, you do a search and you had 10 different brands on each listing, then that would be a total of 10 brands. The opposite side, if you had a search and every listing was the same brand, then you'd have 1 brand. But because we're picking targets or keywords that are non-brand driven, we want to focus on, at least 3 brands that are found in there, but we don't feel that even if they have multiple brands that that's going to influence somebody's buying behavior because it's a non-brand driven product. Similar to number 12, Amazon as a seller. Again, Amazon selling your product isn't necessarily, a negative that you have to negate and not go after that product. And we wanted to not see more than 5 for Amazon as a seller. And there's different processes Amazon has done in the past with, Vendor Central and some other things that they may be selling on behalf of other sellers. So they may not be the main seller, but it's just under their name. So we felt that if we can at least find listings that had Amazon less than 5, that would still be a decent keyword to go after. Number 13, this is related somewhat to the sales that are happening. We wanted to see an exact search greater than 300. So over time, is that search term being searched, the exact search term that you put in there, at least 300 sales per month, which is about 10 a day. And it's kind of related again to the total sales, but we want to, look over time to make sure there's consistency on that search term. Mm-hmm. And then number 14 is the search results. When you do a search on Amazon, it'll tell you how many listings, or I'll say search result, or how many results, which is listings that Amazon thinks is related to that keyword. So as Ryan shown there, you see 3,000 results are listed. 1 out of 16 over at least 3,000.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what that was. So we can do tenths or something. Over 9,000, for example, the tenths. So.
Right.
Okay.
And so we're just trying to reduce the number of leads that we feel that if you have 5,000 or less, it's not super competitive. If it's over 5,000, then it starts getting competitive, at least in Amazon's eyes, of what they think, how many other listings are related to that keyword.
Yep. Cool.
And then the categories, obviously, is these are the categories that we're focusing on finding keywords for.
Yep. Great. Thanks, Rob. Guys, we talked, Jenny and I talked to a lot of sellers and people, I just met with somebody and we were in Yorba Linda last week at our live stream event that we had. And he was talking about how he did the 5-step test for a while and then added his own layers of validation. He's been doing this for a while. And so what I like about this is if you're kind of newer to private label, you don't even have to think about this. You don't have to think, oh, do I want 85 or 75 or 200 or 250? We've given it to you and told you what we think is another extra layers of validation to have. But again, you could take this and do this on your own and make it tighter if you want or looser if you want. But these are the products that we found that pass these super validated these criteria. Tests. Yeah. So and just one excited about that part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And just one other thing, these are the criteria and the values for this criteria we're looking at right now. That's probably going to change as time goes by. We'll identify whether that makes sense to still target those items or the values that are there. So it'll constantly evolve. The good thing is, as being a member of Private Label Box, you're just going to see the end result. You don't have to worry about the details. We'll update you.
Exactly.
But you're going to benefit from how we're seeing the improvements over time.
Right. Rob Mark is asking, does the data come from a JS type of tool or some other method? What I think you're doing viral launch and then launching it through then taking those results and putting it through your own software?
Yeah, a lot of the results are initiate in viral launch, and I'm exporting the data and then doing a lot of analysis with that data.
Yep. So he takes viral launch, and guys, that's a big thing that we want you to understand with Private Label in the Box is that there are so many subscriptions that you could do Viral Launch is an awesome tool. I love it. But you have to know what to do with that data. You still have to read it. You still have to know how to run it. And so that's why we want Private Label in a Box to be a place where you could say, I don't want to mess with all those other tools and subscriptions. Let me just do this. Hand me the results that those things would have told me anyway. But what's cool about it is we're taking it even deeper. So he has this software that he has built that takes it even further than what Viral Launch will give you anyway. So just saves you that subscription. So guys, these are the vetted products without suppliers, the current ones. And so what we do when we find these is, so he might find Ring Dish as an example. And what we'll do then is go onto Amazon, and this is exactly what you should do when you're trying to build a listing. So let's say that you terrarium kit, that's one that you've keyed in on. You will want to go find a hot terrarium kit on Amazon and do a reverse ASIN search. And we use Scope for that. So let me just give you an example. So if I do, and let's just pick one. Let's pick this one right here. I think that was the one actually. Yeah, that was the one right there that was on Private Label in the Box. So we like to find one that's selling really well that has lots of reviews. The reason we pick one that has lots of reviews is because it's going to have more data because it's been around a while. Things that have lots of reviews have been on Amazon for a while because you don't get a review every single time you get a sale. So something that has, let's see, how many reviews did this have? 89 reviews. So that's more than 89 sales. 1% of the time you may get a review. So this is sold a lot. And so we use this tool called Scope to do reverse ASIN. Now I have the paid version, so this is something else that'll save you. And what this is right here, guys, is this is Rob, I'll explain it in my simple way, and you tell me if I did a good job. So basically, these are keywords that lead to this product on Amazon. So there are, if I download this list, you can't see this screen, but there's 235 keywords that this product indexes or ranks for on Amazon. So if I go to the top one here and I type in terrarium, let's see here, it's telling me that this product is number 9 on Amazon in position. So let's do that. I'll show you what this does here. And I might be getting a little too deep in the weeds. But if somebody types in terrarium, but you data guys will understand what I'm saying and like this. So if I type in terrarium, it's saying that product is number 9 down. Let's see. And it's not always exactly accurate. There it is there. I don't know if it's number 9 or not. But on the page, it's number 9 is what it's saying.
After sponsored? After
sponsored, yeah, 9 organically. And so then it's saying activated charcoal. It doesn't have a number there. Right here it says it's number 20 for terrarium plants, spelled wrong. It's number 16 for terrarium plants, spelled correctly. It's number 2 for terrarium supplies. They'll do that one because they'll see if it's actually the second one. Looks like it's actually the first one on the list now. So it's ranked page 1. So when somebody types in terrarium or terrarium essentials or any of these keywords here, this product comes up somewhere on the page in this order. So like number 35 might be number 19 on page 2, for example, depending on how many results Amazon gives you at a time, okay? So these are just all the keywords that this product indexes or ranks for. The reason this is valuable, and this is that whole list is right here in this Google Doc. The reason that is valuable is because when you're creating your listings, you want to go back and look at all the keywords that this hot one is selling for and make sure that those relevant keywords for your product are in your listing. So if your product is relevant for terrarium, well, they spelled that wrong there too. So like terrarium moss, you want to make sure moss and terrarium's in there. Succulent soil, if that's relevant to your product, you want to make sure it's there. There's going to be things in here that don't make any sense at all that you're wondering, why in the world does this product index for that product? Let's go down to some of the ones.
And this is like Ryan said, this is the paid version of Scope that he's going through. The free version gives you 3 or 5, I can't remember.
Right.
I think it's 5 now of the keywords.
Yeah, so if you have, okay, it's like things for plant lovers. It ranks for that term right there. Now, you may not want to have that necessarily in your title and your listing at all. So you would make a long list of all these. You would download this keyword, the CSV file, find the relevant ones, and get those into your listing in some way. And so we're also saving you having to have this Scope subscription. Now, Scope is free, but this part that shows you all of these is paid. And I don't even remember how much it is. We should probably look at how much Viral Launch and Scope is for this level, just to know people, give an idea.
I'll check it out while you're.
It's very helpful to have this, be able to do reverse ASIN to create listings so that you're hitting on the keywords that you need to hit on. Rob, did I do a good job, or anything else I should add there?
No, I think you covered it well. Certain things you may want to consider, and I don't know if it's still working, but in the past, people would say, like, you were finding a bunch of misspellings. They usually put that in the back end keywords, that somebody may be misspelling that, and Amazon will then find that also for you.
So, Ryan, can you go back to private label in a box then and show where that data, because we take that data.
Yeah, we take it and we put it in a separate spreadsheet, and we link to that CSV file for Terrarium Kit here. And then this would be the CSV file for Ring Dish. Okay. I was looking at Larly's question because it's related. I have a version that shows what is at the bottom of the screen. Okay. I'm not understanding that. Let me think about that for a second. Okay. So guys, we're going to have 10 new ones added weekly to this list, and these are without suppliers. So what you would do is, if you wanted to do, track spikes, that looks interesting. Maybe you are interested in track, then just go to Google, type in track spikes wholesale, try to find a supplier that does track spikes that you can order a small quantity of and send it into test. So again, you just can pick from any of these, or you could even bundle these with other things. You could take the Terrarium Kit that we, as an example here, and think, well, what else do people buy with these things? This doesn't have a frequently bought together section on this particular listing, but what else could go with your Terrarium Kit? You could make, there's just with that one keyword, you could have so many different unique bundles that even if every single person in private label in a box decided to go after this one and actually launch it, you could have that many different listings.
Okay, so we're going to be adding 10 a week to this, and you'll see that list. We're going to go all the way through July since we started mid-June. At the end of July, we're going to archive the list, and we'll start with a new spreadsheet in here for August. So every month that list will be archived. After 6 months, you'll have access to the full archived list. So you can copy it, paste it, save it yourself. That's fine. But just know it's not going to be on the, you're not going to be able to find it anymore at the end of the month. Right now, there's an exception because we started mid-month in June. So you'll get 6 weeks worth till the end of August or end of July. And then starting August, you won't see any of these products there anymore. It'll be a brand new list, and we'll post 10 new lists a week. And I think we're planning to do that Mondays. So,
yes.
Okay. So just so you know, also Scope, I was looking it up. So to get 100 keywords, it's $32.50 a month. To get 400 keywords, it's $57.50 a month. That's a monthly subscription for Scope that you don't really need with private label in a box. And then Viral Launch, it ranges from $24 a month to $83 a month.
Okay.
And we're off with private label in a box. Remember, you get that extra, I don't know. I would get Viral Launch and go, okay,
now what do I do with
this data? I think I understand it, but I'm not confident. Here, you can be confident with these products that there's good, solid validation on the front end.
Bundle services. Mark, to your question about a prep center. So Danny has one. We both know Danny. I don't know his product. They don't know if they necessarily focus on bundles, but they do have a bundle service for you. So make sure you check Danny's. It's proprepandfulfillment.com, and they'll happily do bundles for you. Okay, so the vetted products or the validated products with suppliers is the exact same thing. Rob, did you want to go over these again? Sure. Everybody's like, no more data.
Yeah, I know. How many people did we lose?
Other people might be, yeah, let's do it again. I love the data side. Jenny, and let's just get to the product. So these are the exact same things, the exact same validation points, the same 15-step test, but now these products have suppliers attached to them. Okay. And so you could go to Cole Imports. Now, Cole Imports is just an easy one, and we have software that allows us to go through their site and find products that pass, which is really, really cool. And we're going through now and going through other suppliers. And so these pass the 15-step test, and you have the supplier. And these guys are really easy to work with. They even have an FBA program. They'll send to Amazon for you. But if you don't want to go through Cole Imports, then it's not going to be hard to find suppliers for these things. Like I can tell you, black electrical tape, you could probably find that at Great Lakes Wholesale. Blue masking tape, same thing. Allergy mask, there'll be 100 different suppliers for something that generic. Just go to allergy mask, go to Google, allergy mask wholesale, find another supplier if you're not wanting to go with Cole, or you find somebody with a better price. We're not saying that Cole is the best supplier for these at all. It's just we know that they will do private. They're okay with the switching out the packaging, and they just they're easy. So anything else on that, Jenny or Rob?
Nope.
So this is a little bit of a longer process for us. So we're refining it now. So right now we're going to be adding 5 new products with suppliers weekly, and it's the same deal. At the end of the month, it'll be archived. Now, here's the thing. You might think, oh, those archives aren't going to be worth anything in 6 months, but unless it's a seasonal item, we're not seeing data changing very, very often with these types of products. They're generic, non-brand driven. They're unless it's a seasonal type of a thing, which we're really kind of staying away from in here. Maybe we'll provide some seasonal things, but they'll be marked season. Maybe we'll do a holiday edition. I don't know, but so we're not super concerned about the data expiring with the level of validation that we're doing at this point. Am I right on that, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
So I think in 6 months, most of this large percentage of this will still, if not all of it, will still be very valid.
Yeah. I think especially the type of products we're going for, they're not super competitive where you're going to expect to see a lot of changes over time. If you got into a really competitive market, it may change quite a bit, but I think the type of products we're trying to choose for the private label in the box, you wouldn't expect a lot of changes to go on.
Alan, you asked about when suppliers are provided, are MOQs taken into account? We don't necessarily look at that. Very few have a minimum order quantity of 500. Now, Great Lakes Wholesale does, and they are unfortunately strict about that usually, unless you get a rep maybe that will allow you to do something different. Very few are going to have that high of a minimum order. Most are going to allow you to order just a case. So, but we do not exclude somebody who has a minimum order like that, because there's so many different ways you could, if you were doing a bundle, you could get to 500 pretty quickly if you're bundling 2 or 3 things together. All right, so that's the vetted products with suppliers section. And that's the whole product section. So next is keywords. And these are keywords, and guys will get an image here on these just to make it look prettier, but all the data is here, the important stuff. And we go through every category, or the main category. So we got arts and crafts, home and kitchen, all the way down to office. And then on this next page, it goes down to toys. And these are keywords that they don't have a supplier attached, but these are keywords that pass a pretty rigid validations, test themselves. I'll have Rob go over this too, what this means, and then what you can do with these keywords.
Yeah, so each of these are very similar. They go through the same validation process as the other keywords we talked about before. I'm in the process of getting the average profit on these. I've been making some changes, so they're currently not there, but we'll get these updated soon. But what you'll see for these products is they pass the validation, the full validation, and this gives you just an average price that you can look at it. The average profit, it will be based on I'm still evaluating that on, what it would be cost to source that. And you can see the number of sales and the average revenue that you can that's average for those particular items.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a ballpark of what kind of revenue that you can get. The average profit will probably be very dependent on obviously where you would supply, what supplier you'd use and what the cost would be, whether you did it offshore or just locally, doing the normal process of finding the local suppliers, which would be cheaper. But it should give you at least a ballpark representation of what you can expect to get on average on these different keywords.
Right. And so we got the same thing with, if we go to keywords at home and kitchen, exact same thing, just a whole other list that are home and kitchen related. And we can go down each one of those. But these guys are monthly average sales, monthly average revenue. So what you would do with this, if you see folding hand fan, well, that sounds like a good product. Let's see if we can let's source it. Go straight to sourcing this. Find a supplier that you could get a few from. In fact, I bet I can get it from that promo company we were talking about earlier. That's 577,000 guys, and I'll share that with you a little bit later when she's ready to take a deluge of customers. But that's going to be an easy product. So is pill bottle organizer. Again, we're looking for generic items that are simple, easy, and so these would all fit that. So and that's the keyword section. We go through. We have all the keywords. Then next, these are vetted suppliers. These suppliers have been asked the magic question. And these will be dripped out, 5 per month. The first 5 you'll see are here with their websites that you can go to. And this is really super cool because you can do what Jenny and I love to do, which is reverse sourcing. So like if you wanted to go to, let's do hawkimporters.com, for example. Some of these sites, guys, are horrendous. So we're on the site right now. Here's how you could do this section. Here's why I'm really excited about this section is you can go to their whole website. And these are going to be big items. Let's go just randomly.
Binoculars.
Didn't even plan on doing this, but basically this is how you could use this site. So you see all of these pictures. You want to turn these pictures into a keyword and search for them on Amazon. So
mini planer.
Mini planer?
The 5-inch mini planer.
All right, so we see this one right here, mini planer. Let's just go to Amazon.
And this has not been planned or anything, so I have no idea.
Just mean pass at all, but we'll see. Oh, it did mini planer. Let's see.
That's hilarious.
Okay. I typed it in right too.
What do you call it?
Yeah.
Planer.
Block plane.
Student block plane. There we go. Okay. So we got block plane. I like to look at the products and see, am I even in the ballpark? Is this the type of product we're looking for? And it looks like it is, even though I'm not a woodworker, so I don't know for sure, but that looks like the same type of thing. We'll use Scope or Jungle Scout. Let's use Scope this time. And this one happens to fail. It's close. We're not quite to 750. But you guys, you could have a VA go through these and click on each one. Not click, but you could look at this one, wood thread making kit or carpenter pencils.
Okay, you could go back though and to that one and go, okay, well they also have, there's the mini planer, but then there's also go back to the vendor.
Oh, the vendor, okay.
There's also that 6-inch block plane, which doesn't say mini. So I'm going to assume that's not a mini one. So what if you took out the word mini? So you pull back, right? Just like we do on a rabbit trail call.
Right. But I just did block plane on this one.
Oh, never mind. I thought you put mini in there.
Yeah, I just did block plane.
Never mind. You're right.
We could do plane. We could go out and do plane, but that's going to get us some different things.
Yep. Never mind. I thought you put mini in there. Sorry for the confusion. We'll just.
That's okay. But like carpenter square, we'll do one more. You can just go through here and just think about how would somebody be typing this in. Carpenter square, and let's run it. We'll do Jungle Scout this time. Oh man, that one was close. So that one doesn't pass because it's too competitive.
That one's easy. So you just niche down.
Yep.
Wood plane. Yep. There you go.
So we'll try 12-inch, and then you would just hopefully see that the company Hawk has a 12-inch one to make sure. Or if they don't have a 12-inch one, there was other ways to niche down other lengths. So 12-inch one does pass. So you just go back here. Do they have a 12-inch one? This is 6. This is 4. Maybe on the next page. I don't see one necessarily, but guys, that's the process. You just look at these and how would I call what would I call this? What would I call this? What would I call this? Since you already know they're okay with the easy way method and switching out packaging, you have a list of products just to reverse source from.
Right.
This is one of our favorite ways to find products. So this right here alone is worth private label in a box, being able to have a list of suppliers that you can just reverse it with.
They're already vetted.
Okay. Yep. Let's see here. All right, so that's the supplier section, and we'll do 5 new ones. And guys, also, I will go into ASD at the end of the month. I think it'd be fun to even highlight new ones that I find because these are just a list. It would be nice. I need to have post something, just idea, Jenny. Like when I come across a really cool one or whatever, be able to highlight it because this may not mean anything to people here. But if I could say, oh, it's a really cool idea. This plush one, for example, they'll do this and this. Just
put extra notes at the add a column for notes. Just add a column for notes. Yep. And maybe we'll end up putting bonus ones in, when ASD is twice a year. So when, when we find more, and even not on ASD, during ASD times, when we find new suppliers, maybe we'll end up putting some bonuses in. But ultimately, you'll get access to the full list after 6 months, which is over 100 suppliers right now. Mm-hmm. So you'll get 5 a month until 6 months. If you guys are already a lot of you were in private label in a box beforehand. And what we're doing is you already have access to the list in the old private label in a box site. And we have a place where we're adding the archived products there. After 6 months, the old site's going to go away. So that's how we're working with that. We also have an option to be adding some UK suppliers that are vetted. So we might, we're trying to figure out how to fit that in there, but that's something that is coming, that we do have a couple people working on providing vetted suppliers that are UK.
Yep. Okay. And guys, we'll come back to make sure we get all the questions answered. Yep. I'm seeing some in the chat. I want to make sure we get to all you. That's the suppliers. Listings. So what's on this page is we have Abe's listing template that's right here. Really cool. Abe is a master at creating listings, also at finding data and doing the research, finding the right keywords. So you can just plug those keywords into this listing template. Also, we have somebody named, what's that?
It has prompts in the template. So he tells you what to put where and what that part means. And it's pretty cool and helpful.
Very helpful. And then if you don't want to do it at all, just hire Emily. We have somebody in our group. Emily Kinnerly is a friend of Jenny and I's and does listings. And she has a copywriting service. You can just, the description there on how you can hire her if you would like to. Okay. Then we got back packaging. So most of the time you're just going to start with something very simple like a poly bag. But if you want something different or you need to order poly bags, you can get them from sources like this. We also have a list of logos that you can use. Feel free to use them and put your brand name on it if you'd like. But again, that's not even something we would recommend doing your first go around, right?
Right. You don't need to.
But that's there if you need it. And then last but not least is our 30-day bonus. Once you've been in 30 days, you get access to these PLR articles. Jenny, what's private label rights?
Private label rights. Private label rights is information. It's articles that you can claim authorship on. So this can be helpful if you're creating an information product to bundle with your private label product. Go ahead and click on it. I think you have access to that there. So scroll down. So there, okay, wait, I was trying to read them. So like sinus infection, article pack right there. So you could download all of these articles. There's the title of them. Wrestling submission.
Wrestling submission.
Vegetable garden. Home fitness. Activities for seniors. So these are article packs that you have access to once you're in for 30 days.
Guys, and what you would do with this, for example, is you could take, if you were doing a product that had anything to do with caring for the elderly, you could take these and make these into a book, an actual paperback book that you bundle with it. And Jenny's a master at talking about that topic. Or even just take a tip sheet, the practical tips right here. You could take this information right here and create a tip sheet that you can use to make your product stand out. So now you have information.
Have a laminated card. put it on a carabiner or a key ring or something. You cannot take these, and I don't care if you take them and put them in a book as is, but Amazon cares. So even though you have rights to them, because you're not the only person who has rights to them, they want unique content in the books. Mm-hmm. So don't take them as is, change them up and make them your own for sure. But you do have rights to use this content however you please. Home office, there's another one. There's lots of home office products that make great private label products. So maybe there's some options here using PLR tips for proper organization in your home office.
Yep. Or if you guys are bundling, let's say you're not even doing private label really, and you're doing bundling, you're bundling you're getting a wholesale, or you're even doing retail arbitrage, and you're creating bundles out of retail arbitrage items. Create a tip sheet. You can use this information right here to make your bundle unique so that nobody ever could jump on it because they don't have your exact tip sheet. So
exactly. And then the other thing that's available as a 30-day bonus is the coloring pages. Okay, so this will be super cool, especially with a promotional company that you can print on. So coloring pages are very, very popular, and there's like 70 something designs here that you can use, and you can take them. You cannot change them, but you can take them and you can put them on a pillowcase. You could put them on a mug and have like markers with it or something. You could put it on, I don't know, placemats, anything that you want. Think creative. Go to Amazon and search coloring or do-it-yourself coloring or you color, and see if Amazon, we've done a few Night Owl Hangouts on this topic. So just going through and seeing what Amazon, what customers are buying that are items that people will color in. And then you can use those designs to put them on those products.
Here's examples. Can you guys see that? Yep. I just downloaded one to see what that was in it. I didn't even, Jenny put these up and I never even went to it to see it. This one has a bunch.
Yeah. So you can take any of those. You just have to leave them as is with that color and designs on the corner there. That's my own thing. It's just the way that it works. Okay. So you don't have to give me credit or anything. Just keep them as is and you're good.
Nice. Very fun. Can I ask a question? You said you can't change them, but can you take different designs and combine for, let's say, a placemat?
So you could put like one on you could put one or two or three. You could put a bunch of them on a placemat. You can use them however you want. That way you just can't change the design or take off that color, whatever it said, color in designs or color me designs text that was there, the watermark.
And you could teach a PLR class. Didn't we do a webinar about that in the group?
We've done a workshop, and we should do another one. That was a long time ago. There is in the private label mentoring Facebook group under files, additional resources, which a lot of people don't even know exist because if for some reason it keeps getting buried. There's an additional resources file. There's gold there. And one of the workshops is a PLR workshop that we did a little over a year ago. The content still is applicable. The main thing is just to make sure that you're changing the content up for Amazon. But there's lots of tips and how to use PLR and what it is.
Found it, Matthew. Here's the link.
Did you put it in the chat or
I put it directly to his question.
Gotcha.
Cool. Guys, that's it. We'll go over the questions, make sure we answer them all. But this is private label in the box. It's always changing. We're always trying to make it better. We welcome suggestions. You guys are the ones that are using it all the time, and we want you to be happy. When we make sure it's meeting your needs. If you have ideas on things we can make it better, please let us know for sure.
Okay. Questions.
Rob, Vicky says, do you recommend having viral launch tool to fine tune the listings prior to launch the product?
I don't think that's necessary because I think once you have the idea of what's there, by putting the listing on Amazon, you'll start getting an understanding of what's working and what's not with regards to how your titles are and your listings by getting the actual results. I don't think it would hurt, but I don't know if it's going to benefit you that much.
Here's a suggestion. Mike's asking, with the products that are vetted, would it be possible to show the average price point for the top 10 listings?
I guess it's possible. We can discuss with you guys, how we want to do that and what other options. So,
yeah. Okay.
I guess that makes sense, but to put that in there, that's not one of our layers of validation, so we haven't put that in before. You know, we do that when you look at scope data, you'll see that. And we actually removed that because it was holding people back. If that's helpful, that's not a hard thing to put in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Last page.
Okay.
Rob, what do you think about Christy's question? Do you recommend using every character available for the title as long as it's readable? I think Abe talked about at the workshop not to just fill it up.
Right. I mean, it seems to be, and I think Brett also did something recently. It's like the first 5 words in the, I think it's up to 6 maybe, in the title. You know, your main keyword should be there at the beginning of it. I know brand gets put in there now. Amazon's putting your brand automatically in there, but you want to make it, I don't think it's going to give you, I think having the main keywords in the title at the very beginning is the most important thing, at least right now.
Right.
And, you know, you don't want to confuse the reader by, you know, looking at your product and not understanding it by just putting a bunch of other keywords or characters in there. So I think you need to start, if you can start with just one keyword to test it, that's probably the easiest. Put your main keyword in there and see how well it does, and you can change things up.
It was adjusted from there. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Matthew, I knew this question was going to come. Is there an option to pay 6 months of fees upfront to get access to the archives instead of waiting 6 months to get full access? We wanted to offer that at the beginning, a shortcut, and had difficulty figuring out how to be able to do that with the software we're using. So that's still something we're trying to work through. Well, let's see if we can get that solved and come up with a solution for that. It wouldn't, yeah.
We could probably even do it manually, couldn't we, if we had to?
Okay.
I mean, no, like if we had a place for them to pay for that, then we just add them to the archive manually.
Yeah, I'll have to see how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that worst case scenario, that's what we'll do. It's if I can get them in at the 6 month, kick them ahead in the process. I'm not sure. So keep. We'll announce it when you can, and we would probably discount it a bit. So.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that's all the questions we got.
Okay, good.
See, I went through the chat.
Okay.
Yep. Guys, thanks so much. Feel free to email us, post in the group if you have questions about things. Yeah, we want to make this better for you. So
yeah, for sure.
Carl is asking, how many photos do you recommend for the listing? At least that, I mean, for the test listing, at least one good main image, 2 to 3 more if you can. You have 9 slots, so if it's easy to do them all, do them. But for the test listing, we recommend at least just that. Definitely a really good main one, and a couple more if you can. Keywords in the photo title, absolutely, yeah. We been hearing people say that Amazon indexes that too. Yeah. So instead of having some img_12356.jpg, if your product is a tent stake, call it tent stake or another one of your keywords that you want to rank for.
Yeah.
And yeah, Rob's saying that too, so that's good. If you have hard questions, ask Rob.
Thanks. But definitely, feel free if you have questions. If you want to get more into the data, feel free to post questions on that.
You know what, you guys, just real quick, there's another question about the July suppliers haven't been added yet. Honestly, we were traveling and the holiday kind of threw us all off. So we'll get that July list of suppliers added. No, we don't do that. It's not by month that way. I'm sorry. I'm thinking weird. Okay. With suppliers, go back to the suppliers page if you wouldn't mind real quick, Ryan. So those drip out every month. So once you have been in there for a month, you'll get access to month 2. Once you've been in there for 2 months, 3 months, you'll get access to month 3. And that should automatically show up. Go back one page. That should automatically show up in your, see how it has month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get full access. So that should automatically show up as you drip through, and the longer you stay on in there. Does that make sense? Otherwise, the product data, the products will be added to weekly. And then at the end of July, we'll remove what's currently there. So there will actually be 6 weeks. And we'll start again in August, and that will be put into the archive.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, sorry that I got confused.
No, it's good.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
Ask questions in the group.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Yep.
Have a good weekend, everybody. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.